I would like to say a huge thank you to watcho.co.uk for doing me a great deal on this Garmin Fenix 5X Plus. Why the Fenix 5? Well, mainly because it's packed full with smartwatch technology. But it's all hidden that Garmin have actually made it into a proper looking watch, with lugs of 26mm that can also be used with a bracelet or leather strap. The design is very practical and how it all works together. The display is 240 by 240 pixels and measures at 30.4mm and is perfect enough to read in all lighting conditions. Domed sapphire crystal, stainless steel bezel and back case, 51mm case width, 17.5mm thickness and weighs in at 96 grams and it's 100 meters water resistant. There's 5 buttons that control the entire watch, and no, it doesn't have touchscreen, and this is because when a display is covered in water or is in cold temperatures, the touchscreen becomes useless and can even start to navigate the watch on your behalf. So, the intention for this watch is based upon adventures, sports and fitness, which can be divided. I have to admit, even if my lifestyle does have activity, I have never looked at my health side, seeing what is actually going on within. And with this Fenix 5X Plus, it's showing a side that is making me more aware of my health. From heart rate to steps, this does encourage you to get up and do more, but not in a forceful way. The functions are endless, it seems, but it's covering all aspects of the activity side, so has all options covered. The software on the Fenix 5X Plus is as one, unlike some smartwatches that have multiple apps that need opening with further device apps to run them. So makes everything very user friendly. So this 5X Plus offers more functions and has more internal memory over the previous Fenix models. So my story is from a side that has no clue how smartwatches function. So this video is going to show you exactly what it's like out of the box and my experience. So I decided to write my own instructions. These are basic, but it gets you off on the right direction without you being confused, so you can work along with Garmin's own instructions. It's so comfortable for all day wearing, even when hot and sweaty. The silicone strap feels nice against the skin and is very easy to fit. I've been wearing and using this 5X Plus for a week now, and everything I use with regards to functions feels native now. Apart from the Fenix 5X Plus watch, what else do you get in the box? Well, you get some safety instructions in multiple languages. They also supply you a quick tip instruction manual and is very, very basic. And they include this charging and sync cable, and I must admit this is very, very well made. Okay, I'd like to show you some detailing on this watch, and I shall kick off with the case. The case is made of fibre reinforced composite, so it's making it very strong and light at the same time. The buttons have a nice machining and they do seem to appear to be in alloy, and that is repeated on the other side there. There is some nice detailing here with some red around this button, and it also has a triangle. There's a hole here, and this is to do with the sensor side, which I will all come back to. Now the top of the watch, the bezel, this is all made of stainless steel and has a very nice hardened coating, and that is also repeated on the back side of the watch, and it has a nice sunburst as well. And I do like these star screws. These make it look very premium indeed. The sensor in the center here measures your heart rate, and it also has another sensor that measures the oxygen in your blood. And this is the connector that is used for charging and for syncing. The finish on the buckle is the same as on the bezel and the back case, and it has this triangle here. There is no other markings on the buckle, and I like the fact that it's secured with these star screws, again carrying the theme throughout the watch. Even on the back of the strap, it continues with these star screws. So what is this video going to help you with? Well, basically I'm going to break this instruction manual down so that you can really understand it fully. And how I've done that, like I said at the beginning, I have rewritten the instructions just slightly, not covering everything, but here it is. Now, if you look in the description, you'll find a link to this instruction, which is downloaded from OneDrive. And yes, you can modify it yourself and you can add additional things. This is just to get you started. So in the description also is going to have timestamps so you can skip to the relevant items you require. So I thought I would start off with the very basics. The index you can read and freeze frame if you like, but I want to get on to the watch buttons and start from there. On the bezel, it's actually written what each button does, and in this case, this top button here does the light, the middle is up and menu, and the bottom here is down. And on the other side, this button does back and lap, while this button is one of the most powerful buttons on this watch, and this does select and start, and that's why it has this red ring and this triangle here. So, looking at the instructions that I've written and looking in the menu, number 19, useful adjustments to know out of the box. Now, if you scroll to there, number 19, here is a list of all the features that I thought that it was useful to know, such as how to power it on, how to power it off, how to force power off and shut down, and also language. There's also the brightness and so on, and it goes on even to adjust the time and the alarm. Just the very basic features, and also covering a little bit of the GPS side. To power on, it's simply just press the light button once and you will see a triangle appear, and then you will have a few little details, and then it loads the map, and it's just starting there, loading maps, and then it only takes a few seconds after that, and it is now started, and immediately it is connected to my device. And I will go through this instruction that I've written and just cover the very sort of facts that you need to know out of the box. So when you take it out of the box, it will have the language that you need to select your watch. So, and it's just a matter of just following the on-screen display, and it's very easy to get to where I am now in this state with just showing you the time. Once you've done the basic setup through the watch, I would recommend that you download Garmin Connect. and this is a free download, and it's used either on Android or iOS, and register a new account. And this is what it looks like on an Android device, and it's basically the same on an iOS as well. You have two little things up the top here, which is basically your account, and it's just shown you the details and things and activities that you've been doing, and I will come back to this briefly later. And this is the Garmin Connected, and here you can also do some adjustments as well and add some features to make the watch a little more user friendly. But I do recommend that you have this because the oversight is really good working next to the watch. Next, I recommend downloading Garmin Express, and here I have links to both using it on the Mac or using it on Windows 10, and this is an intuitive way of communicating via the watch and your laptop. Now to enter the menu, and looking on my instructions, it is saying hold up, and this is up here. You just hold it for a few seconds, and here comes the main menu. And using up or down you can scroll through, and on this menu there is 4 to choose from. So you have settings, history, clock and watch faces. And to enter, again I've written it all on the instructions, you just press select, which is this button here, and it will open up a window like this. And using up and down you can scroll through the different versions you have, and through the app that is connected to your device you can actually download more, and I must say there is pages and pages of them, so you can choose whatever tickles your fancy. You can also add additional features to the screen, and like this one here where this is the one I've chosen. I've decided to go for the simple digital format. It also has a counting second marker here, which I find quite entertaining. It also covers the battery, and it tells me what I have switched on, if I have the alarm clock or if it's connected to the phone, and some other things as well. And here I'm very particular about what day it is and the date, and here it's showing me the air pressure and telling me that whether the pressure is dropping or if it's rising. So pressing back always takes you back. And also I've written in the instructions, no matter where you are, a long press on back will always take you back to the home screen. So a long press on up and back into the menu. Going down, I'm going to hit clock, and I'm just going to cover some of these features very briefly. So pressing select will open it, and here you can change the alarm clock. Pressing select, and you can add multiple alarms, and it's always going back. You also have a nice timer, and this measures from 1 second up to 24 hours. And there you can start the timer, and it's already selected for 20 minutes, or I can reset, restart, and you can adjust the sound, so you can have tone or vibe and so on, or just a vibration. Going back, next is the stopwatch, and I will come back to the stopwatch and show you how this works. It is very cool indeed. And then you have the alternative time zones, and here I've got it set with Hong Kong and Tokyo, and you can add more time zones to your desire. And pressing back, we're going back to alerts, and here you can adjust the till sunset and sunrise, and I'll just explain this very quickly. This will notify you just before dawn breaks or when dusk breaks. And basically it could be used for if you're an early riser and you want to go for a run or an activity that you do catch the peak of that day. And also you have the option to have an hourly alarm. And going back, and the last one is sync with GPS. Basically this means that it doesn't matter where you are, you just select this and it will update using the GPS the time and some other features as well. So coming back, we next have history, and this is a very useful one because this will tell you all your activities, and I will select just to give you an example, and these are activities that I've been doing. And note it also has a little picture as well just to let you know, and this one here I know from looking at the watch, for working with the watch, I know this is called Track Me. And next, this is about doing a navigation with walk-in, and again another walk-in, and this one is when I just used it for navigation. It just has an arrow, and you do come accustomed to these little logos, and I know that's for a stopwatch, again it's for walk. Well, you get in the idea, and you can just select one of these just by pressing there, and it will load it up, and it will give you the details. It will tell me how many laps you do, which I will come to, shows you your map, training effect, and some other things as well, and it even tells you evaluation as well, and then you can delete it. So I press that just to show you. Here is my distance, the overall time, average speed, calories burnt, my heart rate, maximum and average, and so on and so on. So there is some really cool features or some details you can get with just from the fingertips very quickly without going into too many sub-screens. And you also have records, you have the totals, and options here is deleting all activities and reset totals. Again, in the instructions I've written, I do cover this briefly and go over this and show you how it can all be deleted and reset. And the last one is settings from history, and here this is quite a long menu of going through, so I'm just going to briefly just show you what it looks like on the watch, but this is something that you need to do more for yourself about with regards of reading up. I don't want to make this video too long, but I am going to cover the main topics in here. Anyway, so from settings I need to look for system, and you can just go straight to up and it takes you to the bottom. So with practice you'll understand how to get to the area you need the quickest. So I need to hit systems, and that is the next one. System is more focused about the actual watch than actually about the activities. So by going through, you have the language, you also have the time side as well, so you can change the time format from 12 hours to 24. You can also change it to military time as well. Then you can set time to auto, which I have, and then you have the alerts, and you also have here sync with the GPS. From time going down to backlight. Now backlight, you can choose how bright you want the display, and this is during an activity. So you can have it when the keys are on, the alerts on, and you can have it on the gestures. You can also have the opt of timing it out, and I can just show you that I've got mine on an average of about 15 seconds, and it goes up to 1 minute, and then there is no timeout at all. I think to preserve battery, I just think 15 seconds is working good for me. And then you can also adjust the brightness. So going back, that is during activity. So when it's showing, say you're in navigation, that is the brightness level and so forth. And when it's not during activity, so when it's just say on the home screen of the clock, I've got these options set on. And my brightness is set to 60, so you can separate it from there. Going back to backlight. So from backlight, go to sounds, just to briefly show you, so you can have key tones with a noise, with a tone, or off. Alert tones, I like to be alerted. Vibration, of course, it does have vibration, I want to use it. And you can have key vibe as well if you're into that. And then there's do not disturb, which I have got this in the instructions, and this is basically in a sleep time, and I've got mine set from 23 till 7 o'clock in the morning. It won't make any tone, and this is adjusted in Garmin Connect, which I will briefly show you, and I have included it in the instructions, or in my instructions. So coming back from there. Next is hotkeys, and this is absolutely an incredible way of using the watch. You're basically using the buttons in combination of either using them as singly or paired to open options. So I'm just going to open this and explain, and again I've covered this in the instructions so you can follow it nice and easy. So if I just hold start, I will get a flashlight, which I'll just show you briefly in a moment. And then if I hold back, which is this button here, I will get the widgets. And then hold down, and that's this button here, the bottom, I will come to my timer, and then start and down will lock the keys. Start and up is off at the moment, have nothing on that one. And then there's back and light, which also locks and unlocks the keys. And then you have back and up, and this takes a screenshot. Yes, you can take a screenshot of the watch, and I shall show you that in a moment. So the hotkeys, you want to know the flashlight. So I just long press, takes me back to the home screen. So if I do a long press now on select, I will have this display go completely blank, and it's set for a 100% of the brightness, and you can't come out of this. You have to use the back button to take you back out. So I need to go back into the systems, so it just flowing through, so you just get an idea. I could go forward or down like this, but I found out that just pushing up, it's just a matter of a couple of pushes till I get to systems. So just looking for hotkeys, and there is hotkeys there. Then there is the auto lock, and you can have it always on or during activity and so on. And I decided to have that off, as I like to manually adjust the locking. And then this one here, very useful, is the units. You can adjust this to your metric or imperial. I like to have kilometers for some reason, and here in the UK it's miles. There's pace and elevation of meters and so on, weight in kilos. So you get the idea of that. Next is the format. And now format, I've written a little instruction here, there is a particular format that you need to enter, and this is position format, and this is with regards to the navigation, because when I got the watch, the points when I was looking on Google Maps and I wanted to enter the coordinates into the watch, it was at a different format and it wasn't working. So looking in here, you can adjust it. So by the format here, you can see you either have this one here, which is your standard one that's used on Google, or you have more of the degrees like so, and then it just goes on and on and on. So I've decided to keep it very standard and basic and what I'm used to, and that is the one that I use the most often. So just a good tip to know. So coming back from format, you've got data recording, which I have not covered yet, and then you have the USB mode. Now I have mentioned this again in the instructions so that when you are connecting, now if you choose Garmin, this will just connect the watch via USB and just charge it up, and this is when you're plugging it into your computer or your laptop. And here you have the choice of the media transfer, and this is MTP. So let's go to the instructions because I need to explain something with regards to the MTP. So looking under menu number 28, I've actually got it titled as Screenshot. So basically when you take a screenshot using the Garmin, and I'll just give you a demonstration here. So I've got this with the up button and the back button. So if I just do them together, it will come up like so with screenshot taken. So I was having a little bit of a problem because it says in the instructions that you just plug it in and it will just read the file. But because I use a Mac, I was finding that it wasn't coming up with this file. So if you are a Windows user, you don't need to read any of this or follow this. But if you are a Mac user, then here I've added a link. So you basically download an Android transfer. So once you've downloaded that, you make sure that all your applications are turned off and it's not connected to the watch, and it's all written here. So when you plug in your USB, it will be able to read the MTP, which is the storage on your watch. Otherwise it won't work, and then you will come up with a screen like this if you have the MTP switched on the watch, and you can actually have the option whether you want to connect it yes or no. So once connected, you can open this window here, which will show you all the files. Usually this comes up automatically, and for the screenshot you need to open this file here. It is SCRN shot. No, I haven't spelt it incorrectly. That is how it's coming up. And once you open that, you'll be able to see the BMP images, and then you'll have a little subfolder, and depending how many you've chosen, you can select either one or you can select them all. And if you select more than one, it will automatically put them into a subview folder, which is very cool indeed. Just like to point out that if you do want to open up any of these BMP images, that you will need to drag them over into your laptop or into your computer, as it won't open directly from that window. Going back from the USB mode, you have this one here. It's called reset, and you can basically from here reset the entire watch. And then you have this one here, which is the software update, and if you've got this linked up to the computer, this will do it automatically for you. But this can also directly from the watch and you can even use Wi-Fi. How to enter Wi-Fi? You basically enter the menu and then you select settings, and it will be in the settings menu just down here. So open Wi-Fi, and you got connect to Wi-Fi, and I already have a connection made up. You can also have auto upload, so if there's any updates it will automatically detect you on Wi-Fi and do it via that way. Or you've got my networks, and here you can add a network, and I've already got mine at the bottom. That is my network. Next, from my instructions, I like to show you menu 8 and 9, and this is regarding the widgets and the controls. So let's start off with the widgets and what that looks like. So you can press either up or down to start the widget, and it's just a short press. And the first screen, or the first widget I've chosen, is a My Day. And that's showing that I've done only 90 steps and burnt 1,872 calories. And here you can press select, and if I had more activity I will be able to scroll down. And just pressing back, it goes back to the black screen, which is very cool. So just moving on, and here is the weather. It's 17 degrees, and here it's showing a maximum, a minimum, and the chances of rain. It's also showing that it is sunny, and that is correct. I can press select and it gives me the hourly forecast. I can also scroll down and it will give me a daily forecast. Pressing back, and then it's gone back to black. My next one is the sunrise and sunset, and here is your twilight times. So again, when I was showing you that side where it says till sunrise and till sunset, you could probably work from these times here. So you basically set it so many minutes before the actual sunrise. Just like to point out that pushing the light button will just emit it, and it doesn't matter what you're in. You can also press again and it will turn off the backlight if it's not within the set time. In my case it's only 15 seconds. And here I can press select and I can skip through the days, so I can either go forward and back. So here I'm advancing it there, going into March, and I think it goes up to 1 month, then going back. Next I have my temperature here. This is over a 4-hour period. It's showing you a graph. Next is a compass. The compass is just very basic like so, and you can calibrate this compass, and you can also adjust the display, and you can choose if you want it true north or magnetic and so on. And there's also another thing that I want to show you. Basically, when you want a fixed bearing and you want to lock your bearing, it doesn't do it directly from the compass, but I've written it in the instructions to show you how this works. And I think it's quite a cool feature, a good useful feature, especially on some of those adventures. So moving on from the compass, there is the barometer, and I've got this set for over a 48 period. Here going in, you can calibrate this. You can also change if you want it at 48 hours or down to the 6 hours. And you can also choose if you want the storm alert. So basically, if there's a sudden drop or increase of air pressure, then an alarm tone will sound, and you can change a few of the adjustments also in there. Next is the altimeter over a 4-hour period, and here I can actually calibrate this, and I can use this either manually or I could use the GPS. So it's just a matter of pressing that you wait for the GPS, and if you're outdoors you will get an instant signal, and there you can see the difference of how it's changed. From altimeter, there's this one here, and this basically measures the oxygen in your blood here on the back, and because I haven't got it connected I need to rest this on my finger, and now it's starting to measure, and it will tell me to keep very still. I'm going to flip it over to show you the other sensor. There you go, you can see it. It is now glowing red, and then it goes off because it knows that it's not connected to you or against your body, so it will preserve the battery. And that's another great thing as well, so if you take it off your wrist and leave it on the side. So from there we have the heart rate monitor here. Because I haven't really been wearing the watch much today, it is not going to give me a good reading, but I shall put my finger on there and see if it does. I do have a pulse, and a very calm pulse, maybe a bit too calm, and there we go, and I'm getting more excited, and it's building up, and then it's going up to 62 where it normally sits about 60. There we go. So I am a human being. So apart from widgets, there is a option called controls, which is all done from the home screen. So it's just a long 2-second press on the light button and you will have a thing like this. And I really do like this because it also tells you what is happening on the screen as well. It's written there, so power off, which is quite normal. And then you have lock keys, and I did explain this, that this is part of the hotkeys, and as you saw, it just saw a padlock, and I've got select and down, and I can also use light and back together, so just by pressing those it will now open the button, will unlock the buttons, and I can do that and reverse that as well. But I like to have the option of doing this instead of having it on auto. So going back into the control, so from lock keys there is the do not disturb. Basically in those hours from 11 o'clock in the night till 7 o'clock it won't disturb me, it'll come on automatically, but you can also opt to override that and just have it turned on, and when it comes to 7 o'clock in the morning it will automatically unlock it for you. Next is the backlight, and this is the backlight, so when I'm in the home screen, and here you can adjust it with the up and down. Pushing back always takes you there. And next is find my phone, and I must say the Bluetooth on this is phenomenal. The distance it covers is absolutely crazy, and just going to give you an example. Just press that and it is so instant. There's my phone going, and it also runs the backlight, and just by pressing back it will cancel that. Next is alternative time zones, and this is basically your world clock, and here I've got Hong Kong and I've got Tokyo, and where it's red this is my home time and these two are the world time. So by pressing select you can go through and add a time zone. Very easy. Well, just out of making it a little bit easier, I'm just going to choose Alaska and rename zone. You could also have that option. So now I have 3 time zones. How cool is that? And then I can choose Alaska and I can rename it, and then I can delete it. Well, this is not deleting it, this is just removing it, and I'm back to those 2 there. Very cool indeed. So pressing back takes me back there, and then there's save location. Now I've used this multiple times. This is absolutely incredible. So you just press that. It normally works best when you're outside, and it's very quick, and it just picks up the GPS signal very quickly, and then it shows you all your data you need to know, and I like that. And then from there you can save it and you can rename it and you can use it for later when you are navigating, which I will come to very soon. And next is the alarm, and I like how it actually comes up to say what time you have the alarm set, and it is set to off. So by pressing select I can choose that time and quickly press it like so. Then coming back, it's written. So what happens if I want to add an alarm? There's alarm. Say I wanted to set it, I don't know, just pick a time. It's like this, you just press select, it moves it on. There's your seconds, or your minutes, sorry, and then it gives you a tick, and then that is selected. The status is on, and you could also give it a label. Maybe you want it wake up, workout, or a reminder. It is that easy. And when I go back, it's telling me that I have 2 alarms, which is very cool indeed. So from alarms, going to go to the stopwatch. Now this stopwatch is incredible. So it's just a simple start stop like so, and if I do stop it, it gives me some options. I can either resume, it's either done, I can review, I can reset. If I press the back button with a long press, it takes me back here, and then I can carry on doing what I like. But when I press the long press on the light button to take me to controls, it is still there waiting for me on stopwatch. Press select and my time is still saved. Now on some smartwatches this is usually deleted and you are reset. So let's just start it again and do some lap times. So we've got 2 lap times, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to give you an idea. And I have tried this up to 100 and it still wanted to continue. So how many laps you can do, I should imagine it will fill the memory of the watch. So there is plenty to go around. So I'm just going to stop that. So I can resume and I can press review. Let's have a look at the lap times. There's the overall time, and I can scroll down, and that is very cool indeed. Now if I press back, it's going to come back with this option. Now if I press done, I have the opportunity to actually save that, and I will show you where that's gone. So if we go back to the home screen, long press into memory using the up button, and I want to go to history, and here is the activities, and there is the stopwatch. Remember that screen from there to there, so I can just open that and I can have a look. There is all the lap times. Very cool indeed, and I can just delete it straight from there. I like how it gives you a second pop-up window just to make sure that you don't delete it by accident. So let's go back into the controls menu. So from stopwatch, there is the timer. So pressing start, and I can adjust this here, and I'm just going to show you. Now that is on 20 minutes, and it also does it on 24. So if I press the back button, it goes to the hours, and as soon as you are happy to move on, you just press select. So that's on 20 minutes, and there I can just up and down with the back button, press select, and then it is all set, ready to go. So I just start the timer like so. Now if I go back to the control menu, you can see the timer is there counting back, and if I go forward and then go back, you can see it's still counting. I think that's a very cool timer. And you can also just press the down button where it's written there, reset, and then it will just start again. you'll need to press select and reset it from there, and then it's ready to go. Okay, next one is the sync, and this is syncing the watch to the app. I like to have it on there, and then it's back to off. You can actually, by being in this mode here, if I wanted to long press on the up button, it will take me to this sub menu here, and I can either add controls or I can actually move them around if I wanted to. Say I wanted this, find my phone, and I wanted to place it over here, it's not going to be a problem. I'll just put it there, just show you, and then you press that and that's its new location. Then going back, you can also remove controls and also have some other setting options there, just for being convenient. Then you can add controls as well. There's a music control, which I've got no music on at the moment, and you can either have the option there. So I go back and like so, press a back, and we are back in home screen. On my instructions, I've covered the navigation, and I've also split it down into different sections. So the first one is explaining how to custom the categories. Next is a basic overview, and then I thought an interesting one was finding a point on the map and manually, and this is all from the watch. And also I like to show menu options while you're in navigation, and an interesting feature is called navigation lock on road, and basically this feature locks the map to the road system. So if you're in the middle of nowhere, it will try and navigate you to a road before continuing. So I thought it was good to have this option that you can turn this on or off. And the other last one is the navigation mode. Basically you can choose the type of transport and you have your route options, much like you would have on a sat nav on your vehicle. So let's crack on with some navigation, because I'm sure you're dying to see what this looks like. So if you look at my menu and go to 12 navigation, and this is the custom categories, so I'm basically going to use walk as an example. So from the home screen, pressing select, you'll have a menu like this, and I can scroll down. So this is to my preference of how I've set it up. So I've got walk, I've got hike, I've got kayak, bike, and I've also included tides, and that is an optional extra which you can do through the app. There's also the navigate, track me, you can look at the map, and Sendpoints, which I will come to. And here you can press select and add your own, and here is the list, and it is a long list. It also includes the swimming, it does skiing, and for you golfers it's also there, it's included. And it also does the strength, the cardio, and so on and so on. So going to come back, and I just wanted to give you an example of walk. So just select walk. Now I can just press select again and it will start, and it's basically just going to be an open walk. But here, when it's running on the navigation, you'll have this screen here, and by using up and down I can show you the other screens that can be shown. This is while during the navigation. It will give me a map, so I can follow a map. I also have the time, I can take it back to the time, and because it's gone white, it's indicating that it is running in the background, and when I press start it will come up with GPS up here on the display. It's quite handy to have. And then there is this zone, and this is your zone of fitness. At the moment, sitting on my backside, I am doing the minimum. So just go back there. So if I press start, it will try and look for a GPS, and at the moment in the light box it might be a bit of a hit and miss. So this is what it's like here when I've done out in a park and I've tried out, and to show you what it's like when you press start and how you navigate around. And when you stop, it gives you a choice whether you want to resume, you can save, and or you can delete, and some other options there. Also, while I've got this in this mode here, I haven't started it, I can do a long press and it will take me to the walk settings, and from here I can actually adjust the data screens. I could actually include data screens if needed. So very customizable. And here you can add alerts, and it just goes on as well, on and on, as I should say. There is also a routing one as well, which I do cover this in the manual, and basically here you can adjust, so you can have running and walking, hiking, and then it goes on. So you can now choose, you want a vehicle, motorcycle, road cycling, and different surfaces like that. At the moment for me, running and walking seems to be working fine at the moment. There's also functions like an auto lap, which you can do manually. So basically how this works, when the navigation is running, you can press the back button and you can press multiple times, and basically it would just take a lap recording of where you were, maybe on a particular route. You just like to know where that certain point was and what your performance was doing. I have Garmin Connect both installed on my iPad and on my Android device, and I'd just like to tell you that this is possible. Just remember, the watch will connect to the nearest device, and when you walk away and take the other device, it will reconnect to the device that's with you. I just thought I'd point that out now because I have been playing around with it and tried it out, and I like that because I do have the iPad upstairs and I use the Android to carry around with me, and when you meet them both together in the same room, whatever device it's connected to, it will remain connected. So while talking about Garmin Connect, I wanted to show you that feature about Do Not Disturb. So open up the watch here, and scrolling down here, there is one here called User Settings. Open this up and you can see that you can adjust some features like about yourself, and here under sleep is that Do Not Disturb side. So from here you can adjust the times, and once you have set this, it will automatically transfer this data to the Garmin Fenix 5X Plus. From the main screen of Garmin Connect, at the top here, you can select your own logo and various other things, but here is the list of all your activities. So if I wanted to look at this one here just as an example, this is one I did when I was testing the watch out. It's given me the time, the distance and the calories I've burnt. I've also get a picture which shows me exactly where I've been. This is very cool indeed. I like to also just cover how to download an app from Garmin Connect via the app. So you open up the watch and here it says activities, apps and more. So opening this here, I select activities and this will open up. This is all based on my internet connection. Now these are the apps I have installed in the watch. And these are more activities I have also on the watch, but I also have the possibility to add any of these. You can also get more. And I like to show you a navigation app that I'm using. So if I go into the search bar at the top here and type in navigation, it's already come up because I've written it before. And here I just press go. Then it's loaded up the apps that are associated with navigation. And there's one particular here called Sendpoints. Now this one is very, very cool indeed. And basically it gives you a description here. And this sends waypoints from Google Maps to your device without registration. So basically what you do, you download this app, and it also gives you a link which you can add this to your home screen. So let's just see what happens when I press download. It's coming up with some permissions. I'm just going to download it anyway. So the next time it's synced with the connected app, it will be installed on the watch. So if I go back to the main screen, it's already started to sync, and that doesn't take long at all. I'm now going to show you a demonstration of how Sendpoints work. So you remember this screen here which gave you the link to the waypoints. Now this is asking me to open up in another window, which is basically Safari. So here comes up a line, so you tap on that, it brings up the keyboard. Now I want to navigate to the post office just down the road. So I'm just going to type in post office, and already it's starting to give me a list. So I now need to narrow this down, and I'm going to put my address in there, and already I can see my address is the middle one. So I just tap on there, and yes, it's brought up a map. You can make the map bigger, you can pan around, you can also tap on that and drag it to somewhere else if that's not the exact location. So from here you have send. So by pressing send, it comes up with a code. So it's just a matter of pressing start into the navigation, then selecting Sendpoints, and you will have this space to write in this code. First one is 7, and select, then it's 6, 6, and you can press back if you've made a mistake and go back and correct it, and then 7, like so, and select, and there it is, McColl's post office, and it has been added. So where has it placed it? Well, basically what you do when you go next time to navigate, you just need to select your saved locations, and it will be here. There it is, the post office. Now you can select that, you can either go there or you can bring up some details. You can also have a look at the map of where it is, and you can rename it. Next, I want to cover the hotkeys, and a particular one I want to show you that could be very useful, and again I've included it into the instruction manual, the one I've written. So enter the menu, hitting settings, then we need to go into system and select the hotkeys. There we are. Then I know I've got one particular hotkey that I have not designated a buttons to, and that is start and up, and that'll be that button and the middle one here. So just press select, and the one I want to choose is MOB, the mob, and this means man overboard. So I'm going to select that and show you how this works and how it could be of use to you, not necessarily just for man overboard, but for anything. So if you want to mark a location, you want to later get back to it, but you don't have the time to set up your navigation, it's just a matter of pressing start and up once, and this will begin, and it will look for a GPS, and then it will set a bearing compass with the coordinates as well, and you can later navigate back to this. The buttons will be locked and you can only use the back, and this will come up with either exit, yes or no. So it has that feature, and just pressing back will take you back, and this can be used for many different reasons. But I thought it needed to be shown because I thought that was very handy to have, especially on a smartwatch with this amount of tech. So once you have stopped mob man overboard and you need to go back there, then just press select, enter the navigation here, and then navigate, and then scrolling down here you will see last mob. You hit that and there is the bearing compass to guide you back, and it also gives you the distance remaining, and that is the GPS coordinates as well. Next feature I like to cover in the navigation is find point on map, and again I have this all covered in the instruction manual that I've written. So pressing select takes you to the navigation, and I need to select map, and from here, and I also have a notification that the GPS is connected, and from here it's showing my present location. So by pressing up with a long press of a couple of seconds brings me to this menu, pan and zoom, and pressing select I have the option to zoom in and zoom out, and if I press the select button again, the icon here changes. Now I have up and down. If I press for a second time I have left and right, and if I press the third it takes me back to the zoom, and at any point you can just press back. So a long press on up takes me back to pan and zoom. So let's just have a little bit of panning. So I'm going to go left and just randomly select a point here. So now I need to press select with a long press of a couple of seconds, and it will tell me the road. It will also tell me that it is land. It also has the option that it will tell you also that it could be a city. Now I can also just go back if I'm not sure if that is the correct location. I can now adjust it to here, pressing long press on select, and it's telling me it is Black Park. Now I press select and I have a few options. I can either go directly and navigate there, I can save it, and I can also have a quick review, and it shows me the distance and the elevation as well, also giving me the coordinates. So going back, I want to show you what it's like if I save the location for later. So press select, and here it's come up with Black Park with name, and then I have the option here. You have a tool bar here on the side, so the tick is meaning it's okay, but if I go to the X I can press select and delete, and by going up I can have space, I can change it to lowercase, I have numbers and I have characters. At the moment it's in capitals, so if I changed it into lowercase it's just pressing select. So we can just do A, B and C. So once you are happy you select the tick, and that has been renamed. And again you can change the icon, so it can have outdoors, civil and some other points of interest, hunting markers. So I want, say, instant, I want a green flag, and it is now selected. So if I come back out of this, going back to the main menu, when I go to navigate, I can just select the saved locations, and here it will be in there. So it's a green flag. I'm just looking for it. There it is, a black ABC, and select, and I'm back here. I can go and get all the details, and again you can adjust it as well and rename it. Another feature in navigation, so press in select, and I want to now navigate. I also have the points of interest and around me, so I like to just quickly briefly cover these. So I've got cities, I've got food and drink and fuel stations. I've also got places of rest, attractions and entertainment, and so on and so on. I can also have a look around me. By selecting this, the map will load up and it will show me in segments of particular areas on the map. So just waiting for this to load up, and there we have a segment here, a triangle, and using the up and down I can select a different zone, as you can see. So if I wanted to know what was in this particular area, just by pressing select, it will show me that I've got parking. Oh, there's Crumbs, the cafe, which I like to eat at, and it's telling me that the bank and the White Hart pub. So I want to navigate to a saved location, and by selecting that, and say I want to navigate home. So it's just a matter of starting that and pressing go. It will look for a GPS signal, and it will also tell me how far I need to travel. Then it's just a matter of pressing start, and then you have the icon that comes up like so. And notice that it had a pause icon. Now this is something that I wasn't sure of, so I've included it in the instruction manual that I've written to explain why it does this. So looking in my instruction manual under menu 26, it says if the pause icon flashes while navigating, it's because your auto speed is set too slow. So what you do, you enter the menu, you select settings, activities and apps, and then select navigate. And then select navigate settings, and here at the very bottom is auto pause, and I have mine set at 5 kilometers an hour. So basically if you do not walk faster than 5 kilometers an hour, it will pause, and this is all to do with preserving the battery. So the option here, you can press select and adjust it to your required speed. You could also select when stopped, or in my case I'm going to select off, so that next time when I press play I won't have this pause icon. And I thought this was something that was kind of difficult to find, so that's why I've included it in my instructions. I just want to cover a few more little things regarding the navigation. So I'm just going to start a navigate, and I'm going to go to my saved locations, and I'm going to pick the park. So I'm just going to select that, press start. It's just working out my calculation of the distance, and GPS is all ready to go. Now pressing start, you've noticed that it is playing and the pause icon has vanished. Now using up and down I can scroll through different screens, and there is the home time screen, but notice that it is with a white background and it's showing me the GPS is on, and it's also giving me a bearing indicator as well. Very cool. And here it's telling me my fitness zone. Well, I'm sitting on my backside, so I'm going to be in the minimum. And here it's telling me my lap distance, lap time and lap speed. I'm just going to give you a demonstration of that in a second. And it's telling my distance, the timer and speed, and some more information there. It's also giving you some estimated time of arrival and things like this. It's also telling me my altitude, and it also gives me a bearing compass as well. And then it goes back here, and at any point you can press back, and this will give you a lap, which will all be saved in the activity side, and then it returns back, and you can make as many of these laps as you need. And I just thought that was just a nice oversight of actually how it works. So when I press select the once, it comes up with stop. Then I have an option. I can resume, I can save, I can resume later, or I can look at my laps, or back to start, which is basically backtrack or just delete. So there is plenty of options to choose from. So I'm going to save this. So it's now saving it, and then it is done. I can also have some details, and I can go back to the map and I can see all the other things I've been doing as well, including the time zone, which will come up here if you have all this set. So there's quite a lot of detailing that you can add to this. So basically you can have it very basic, or you could have it very customized. Now, if I go to the Garmin Connect, I can see that my last navigation has been uploaded here, and I haven't walked from my light box, but all the information would be stored here. And so that is so handy, because you don't even need to transfer it. It does it automatically as soon as it's connected to Bluetooth. Next, I just want to briefly cover the removing of the straps and how easy it is. And on the underside, it has this spring released clasp here. So you just pull that back and the straps just pop off. It is very easy to do. So with the straps removed, it is easier to clean. And also, as an idea, you could actually attach this just to your rucksack like so you don't have the dangling straps. And also, you can get optional colours in these straps, and as you've seen from the beginning, you could replace them with either the stainless bracelet or have the leather. So that is my full review and tutorial using my own custom instructions. Now, I will be doing follow-up tutorials, especially on the navigation side, because it deserves more. And with playing around with this Garmin, I'm going to discover new features that I would like to share with you. So if you are finding this a little bit overwhelming, then I suggest that you press Find My Garmin. And as always, that is the time. Thanks for watching.